Hello everyone, welcome to the new session of Biotechnology in Agriculture. So this is the third part based on the biotechnology in agriculture. In this session, we are going to study some more concept about the plant biotechnology, right? So plant biotechnology such as GM technology, it is also called as GM technology, genetically modified technology or gene modified technology, and molecular assisted breeding has generated products that have helped to achieve enhanced yield in more sustainable manner. So this particular plant biotechnology has been used because it is it provides us the products that have enhanced its yields. Okay, and also it is more of sustainable manner. Development of pharmaceuticals, recombinant therapeutic proteins, plant made pharmaceuticals, transgenic plants, artificial seeds, and plant made vaccines or antibiotics are currently in advanced research in the plant science. So in the plant science, what we are doing nowadays, we are developing pharmaceuticals based on the plant biotechnology. We are using the recombinant therapeutic proteins right today because of the plant biotechnology. Plant made pharmaceuticals, many of the pharmaceuticals products has been made from the plants by using the plant biotechnology technique. Transgenic plants, transformed genetic plants has been generated by the plant biotechnology. Artificial seeds, plant made vaccines and antibiotics have also been made from the plant biotechnology. Recently, attempts are being made to use the genome editing technique, namely CRISPR-Cas9, for the crop improvement. So, this is a technique we will study this technique in detail, and that has been used for the crop improvement. That means genome editing is nowadays used for the crop improvements, and this technique is called as CRISPR-Cas9, right? Almost 29 countries adopted GM crops, genetically modified crops, in which soya beans, maize, cotton, and canola from the major crops. So, gene has been modified so many crops in so many crops. So, examples are soya bean, maize, cotton, and canola. The transgenic technology initially developed was limited to the control of weeds and pests. So, earlier, this technology was used to develop varieties that could control the weeds and pests. Okay, but nowadays, these transgenic technology or the plant biotechnology is used to modify the crops according to our needs. It is used for pharmaceutical, the plant that provide you the product for the pharmaceutical industry, right? Not only for the pharmaceutical industry, for also the crop plants, they are also getting modified by this technology, right? But the second generation of the GM crops brought revolution in the field of agriculture. Earlier, it was just used for the control of weeds and pests, but nowadays it is used in the field of agriculture, in all the fields of agriculture. In the field of agriculture, biotechnology assisted farmers in the production of plants with the tolerance to the abiotic stress. So, a lot of abiotic stress are there for the plant that are grown in the field, and that is the great challenge for the farmers. Improved nutritional features. Farmers wants the crop that is having a great nutritional features, right? So they can overcome sexual incompatibilities between the plants and species. So many of the plants are sexually incompatible for the different species or the varieties, right? And They can overcome the barriers that allow the introduction of genes from unrelated organisms such as bacteria, fungi, or other plants, and also from the viruses. There are some of the genes that are very useful that are present in the bacteria and fungi. Through this technology, that particular gene has been taken out, okay, from these organisms and incorporated into the crop, right? So this technology are nowadays used in every aspects of the agriculture. This particular technology, that is the biotechnology, plant biotechnology, nowadays is used for every field of agriculture, not only just for controlling the weeds or the pests, right? They are used to develop a species that can tolerate abiotic stress, that have improved nutritional features, that can over the sexual incompatibilities so that they can be crossed with the different species, right? So these are some of the revolution in the field of agriculture by the use of plant biotechnology. Okay. Innovation in the plant biotechnology through the GM crops. Now, what are the other innovations? Innovation made in plant biotechnology through the GM crops are described under the various heads in the following sections. Weeds. The plants growing where they are not wanted. These are the unwanted. These are the unwanted plants that grow along with the crops. Like example is striga. Decrease crop yield and the quality primarily by competing with the crop plants for light, water and nutrients. So this particular species, that is the striga, that is a weed, okay, it compete with the crop plants in the cropland for light, water and nutrients. So the crop yield get decreased. Now the farmers apply herbicides or weedicide, example glyphosate, for the eradication of weeds in the field. But the main problem with this is the loss of crop plants also, as these herbicides are not selective. These are non-selective. If they are killing, this glyphosate is killing the herbs or the weeds, that is the unwanted plants, but it is also killing the crop plants also. So they are non-selective. Newer technique based on the biotechnology tools have been developed which are quite effective for weed management as well as increasing the yield and income. So what we want? We want just to eradicate the weeds, right? But we do not want our crops to get eliminated along with the weeds. So what this technology has given us, let us see. So there are several biotechnological strategies for the weed control, but the most commonly employed approach is the overproduction of herbicide target enzyme. So if this enzyme is produced in a larger amount, by the crop, they become insensitive to the herbicide. So if the herbicides are sprayed, okay, this crop will be insensitive to it. It can tolerate that because it is having that particular enzyme and it gets synthesized in the chloroplast. As you all know that the chloroplast has its own genome that can synthesize this particular enzyme. And this particular enzyme does what? It makes plants insensitive to the herbicides. So the herbs or the weeds that are present in the crop in the presence of herbicide, they can be eradicated. They can die off. But this, our crop plant will not die because it is having a particular enzyme that can tolerate this herbicide. Okay. The popular example of such an approach is the introduction of a modified gene from an agrobacterium that encode for a resistant form of an enzyme into the crop plants for tolerance against the most extensively used herbicide glyphosate, sold as Roundup, which is effective against many weeds. So agrobacterium, a gene from the agrobacterium is taken out, okay, modified gene from an agrobacterium, and it is incorporated into the crop plants so that it can tolerate the most extensively used herbicide, that is glyphosate. So here up, this is the Roundup contain glyphosate, which is toxic to standard plants that contain its target protein. So we are having Roundup ready crop and the regular crop weeds. So when this Roundup contain, that is the glyphosate, is sprayed, it kills this particular regular crop weeds. But our Roundup ready crops, there is no effect on this because the plant contain this protein are destroyed upon the exposure to the glyphosate indicated by the red X. Okay, so it contain a target protein. Okay, so which is a toxic to the standard plant that contain its target protein. It is having that target protein, and this glyphosate joins to this target protein and destroy this particular plant. But what happened to the Roundup ready crop? Roundup ready crops have been engineered to contain a gene from the agrobacteria or the agrobacterium and making them immune to the herbicide. It do not contain that particular protein that can get attached with this herbicide, right? So now the introduction of the Roundup plant, farmers can get rid of weeds only without getting harm to their crops. Okay, so this is very, very important. Roundup ready genetically modified crop plants such as canola, soya bean, corn, and cotton tolerant to the glyphosate have been already commercialized. So nowadays they are in great use. A wide range of disease caused by the viruses, fungi, bacteria, insects, mites, and the plant's nematode lead to the significant crop losses every year, right? So these are some of the organism like fungi, bacteria, insects, mites, and plant nematodes. They causes great damage to the crops, and every year we are bearing a lot of losses. Okay, so the disease causing microbe and the strategies to make the resistant plants are discussed below. So nowadays we are adapting a strategy so that we can develop resistant plant from these particular organisms. Many plant against several different viruses such as virus causing yellow crookneck disease in the squash, potato, mosaic virus, the potato leaf roll virus, barley yellow dwarf virus in wheat and papaya, ring spot virus for developing resistance to the virus by introducing gene for viral coat protein has been developed. So a study has been done for the whole structure of the virus. Okay, so the protein coat of the virus, that is made up of capsomers. Okay, so that has been studied, and a, a gene against this viral coat protein has been developed, and it is introduced into the organisms. A viral coat protein acts like a vaccine, causing the plants to develop resistance to the particular virus. So this viral coat protein is taken out from the respective virus, and a vaccine, a sort of vaccine type of a chemical or the biomolecule has been developed, and that causes plants to develop resistance to the particular virus. Transferring the gene for the viral coat protein, a part of the outer shell of a virus that does not cause disease into the plant, may confer protection to the plant and induces resistance without the introduction of the actual virus. So as it happened in the human, for the development of the vaccine, in the same way, a small part of this outer shell of the virus, that is the coat protein, is taken out, right? And against it, the plant develop the resistance for the whole virus. Okay, and if the actual virus is get introduced into the plant, they have already that vaccine like biomolecules. Fungal diseases causes significant damage to the crops, including fruits and vegetables. So there are many fungal diseases that causes lots of damage to the fruits and vegetables, and it is characterized by wilting, moldy coatings, rust, blotches, scabs, and rotted tissue. These are different types of appearance we can see on the diseased plant. Wilting, plant get wilt in the presence of some fungi. Okay, moldy coating, rust, the very famous example, Puccinia graminis stritzi, that causes rust disease in the wheat. Blotches, scabs that generally occur in the fruits, and the rotted tissue. So finding adequate substitutes for the fungicides like methyl bromide has intensified the need to develop the genetic engineering approaches. So we are using some sort of fungicides to get rid of these particular fungal diseases, right? So what that fungicide is used? Methyl bromide. So the use of this, okay, has taken our mind towards the genetic engineering approach. So why can't we develop some sort of crop that can be based on these genetic engineering approach and that can get rid of these different fungal diseases? Defensins, this is a type of protein. Defensins are antimicrobial protein that enhance the plant's tolerance to the pathogen and are present in insects, mammals, crustaceans, fish, and even some plants. So, defensins gene has been taken out and incorporated to the respective crops. So, defensins from the moths and butterfly, the fruit fly, pea seeds, and alfalfa seeds also show the potent antifungal activity too. So the first transgenic application of the defensins was the incorporation of the antifungal defensin from the alfalfa into the potato. First time this particular gene for the defensin is taken out from the alfalfa and introduced into the potato plant. The transgenic potatoes were resistant to the fungal pathogen Verticillium daelia. So this is a particular pathogen, right? Resveratrol from the white grapevine is a secondary metabolite that acts as a natural defensin which protects the plant from the Botrytis cinerea infection. Okay, so this Botrytis cinerea infection is a fungal. It's a fungi that causes disease in the grapevine. But this particular grapevine already have a resveratrol type of secondary metabolite. Okay, and that is natural defensin that protect the plant from Botrytis cinerea infection. A gene of resveratrol, when inserted into the host plant, provide resistance against Botrytis cinerea in wheat and barley also. So, by using this biotechnology technique, the gene responsible for this particular metabolite, resveratrol, has been taken out and introduced into the wheat plant and also in the barley plant, right? Ripwint 1.1 gene isolated from the Solanum venturi is transferred to the potato to protect from the resistance for the late blight caused by Phytophthora infestans. This is one of the very common disease, late blight of potato caused by Phytophthora infestans. Now, from the Solanum venturi, a gene, that is, the name of that gene is Ripwint 1.1, that is taken out and introduced to the potato plant. And now this particular potato plant, transgenic potato, this potato is now transgenic because one of the foreign gene from the Solanum venturi has been incorporated inside the genome of this potato. So this transgenic potato now have a resistance against this Phytophthora infestans. Similarly, wheat gene encoding oxalate oxidase is being transferred to the Castanea species to provide resistance against chestnut blight fungus. And chitinase gene from the insect is being transferred to the apple to provide resistance to apple scab fungus. So now you can understand that gene from insect is taken out, okay? Gene from the insect, and that gene which encode chitinase enzyme has been taken from the insect and it is transferred to the apple. Now this particular apple is having resistance against apple scab fungus, scab disease, okay? Bacteria. Most food crops are susceptible to the bacterial infections causing leaf and fruit lesions, soft rots, yellowing, wilting, stunning, tumors, scabs, or the blossom blights. Okay, so most of the crops are susceptible, means that easily get infected with these bacterial infection. Okay, when the tissue damage occur on the blossoms like flowers, fruit or roots of the food crop, yield of the particular crop get reduced. So, genetically modified crops have been developed against the various bacterial pathogens in which lysozyme genes are being transferred into the potatoes to provide resistance against the blackleg and soft rot disease caused by Erwinia carotivora. Erwinia carotivora, right? So, this particular bacteria causes disease in the potato. Now the lysozyme gene has been introduced into the potato and the potato become resistant against the blackleg and soft rot disease caused by Erwinia carotivora. Gene from Erwinia carotivora and Pseudomonas syringae is being inserted into the rice also to make it resistant to the wildfire disease. So these are many examples like in which the genes from bacteria, fungi, viruses has been taken out and introduced into the crop. So our crop become genetically modified. Okay. Widely used transgenic pest protected crops are those that expressed insecticidal proteins derived from the genes cloned from the soil bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis. We all know we have a one particular session to understand this Bt cotton, and this Bt gene has been taken out from this Bacillus thuringiensis. Actually, the gene is called cry gene. This insecticidal protein that is called cry protein or the delta endotoxin binds specifically to the receptor protein in the insect gut and destroying cells and killing the insects. A number of plants offering resistance to the insect using this strategy have been developed worldwide. So in India, Bt cotton is the only transgenic plant permitted by the government for the cultivation and commercial level since 2002. So in our country, only the Bt cotton has now been introduced, but there are many other crops. Okay, many other crops that has been introduced this particular gene from the Bacillus thuringiensis. Like Bangladesh became the first country in the world to approve the commercial planting of Bt brinjal, which started in 2014. In addition, the widening spread of fall army worm infestations promoted the researchers to strategies on its control by using pyrimidine, that is the stacking of two or more genes in a single crop plant for insect resistant crop improvement. So not only a single gene, two or more gene has been introduced in some of the crop in a single crop to get rid of insect resistance. So to get insect resistance for many insects. Stacking of two genes, one with increased water use efficiently and other for the resistance to the insect pest, have been resulted in the formation of hybrid maize seed. Now this particular maize species is having, or the maize variety is having, stacking of two genes, one with the increased water use efficiency and other for the resistance to the insect pest, have been resultant in the formation of hybrid maize seeds. So this particular type of transgenic maize is having two particular genes, one for the increased water use, another for the resistance to the insect pest. Right? Similarly, Bt gene was stacked with drought tolerance trait, that expressed the Bacillus subtilis cold shock protein B. Okay, so this Bt gene was also stacked with the drought tolerance. So not only single gene, but there are two or more gene, okay, that has been introduced in many crops. Transgenic strategies to combat nematodes that infect bananas, soybeans, rice and potatoes are emerging areas. So nematode also causes lots and lots of harm to our crops like banana, soybean, rice and potatoes. So incorporation of genes in the potatoes produced up to 70% nematode resistance in the field trials. Using genetic markers, scientists bred plants containing the resistance gene with domesticated varieties, circumventing the poor performance characteristic of the wild variety. Producing a resistant variety of soybean from the wild strain. So we are using wild strain to produce a resistant varieties, for example soybean, and in such a example in which by using specific genetic marker, scientists first identified a particular trait and its subsequently breeding with the plant containing resistance gene with the domesticated variety. So we are breeding our domesticated varieties with the plant that is containing the resistance gene. The new varieties are not transgenic but have resulted from the combining the use of modern genetic marker with the conventional breeding technique. So this modern genetic marker that has been introduced, okay, but this particular we are using the breeding technique here, okay, we are not producing any varieties by the transgenic technology. Okay, so there are many other applications of such genetic modification of crops through which a tolerant and a resistant variety of crops can be produced. One of the example is the genetically modified maize, that is CIEA9, that has been developed in Mexico, which has enhanced adaptation to the severe drought and extreme temperature, in which the sugar trehalose is broken down by the glycoside hydrolase enzyme trehalose. Okay, so we are having one example of this particular type of crop, that is genetically modified maize that has been developed in Mexico. By antisense RNA technology, trehalose expression is silenced in the maize, and such a biotic maize require approximately 20% less water and can withstand higher temperature. So by using antisense RNA, the trehalose expression has been stopped. Okay, and this particular plant can withstand 20% less water supply. Okay, that's require less amount of water, and that also withstand with the higher temperature. So this is all about this session. We will meet with one more session for the biotechnology in agriculture. Till then, thank you very much.